Hey everyone, it's Doug. This is the Life Lessons podcast that you're listening to. So today was a little bit interesting. I found out that one of my former coworkers, she had a sister she was really close to. The sister was 25 and the coworker that I worked with, she was probably 35. So her younger sister passed away. And we were just talking about how shocking and, how much of a hard time she's probably going through now because she was really close to her sister. Like when I worked with her, she was talking to her sister on the phone daily at work, just messaging her or having actual phone conversation. So I bring this up because I want to talk a little bit about grief. Grief is extremely painful emotion, and it usually catches us off guard. We're not expecting our friends or family members to die. Although it's a part of life. Life and death go together. You can't have one without the other. But there's a part of our minds that believe or think that, we're going to live to an old age. And that's just not true. So most people believe it takes years or decades to get over grief, to get over a loss of someone. And even then they'll say, you'll never get over it. You'll never be the same person again. And, all these other beliefs. And that is true if you don't have the right tools and if you don't have the right perspective. People do get stuck in their grief and they start to identify with their grief. They become a grieving person and this becomes who they are. They, in a sense, get attached or addicted to their pain and their suffering and their story. And they just continue to stay stuck in their grief. And they're also afraid to let go of their grief because they have another belief that the more you grieve, the more it means that you love them more. So now, any moments of feeling good and not grieving when they forget to grieve, all of a sudden turn into guilt. And they'd be like, oh my God, what am I doing? And they think that, now that means that I don't love the person who passed away. So that belief can keep people stuck in their grief as well. So all of our pain and suffering is created by a finite perspective, a finite mindset. And all of our joy and peace is created by an infinite perspective, an infinite mindset. And the reason for this is because the nature of our reality is infinite. Everything is made from energy. So E equals mc squared is saying that energy is equal to matter, which is equal to space, which is equal to time. So everything is made of energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Therefore, energy is infinite. You are infinite. You're not actually going to die. Energy just changes form. So you are going to change form one day. But your consciousness or your energy or whatever we're made of is going to continue on. It's infinite. Energy is infinite versus limited or finite. So when we believe that someone dies, that their death is permanent, or that we're separated from them, then you're going to feel and experience pain. So what we can do, another part of infinity is all-encompassing. It encompasses the things we like, the things we don't like, the good and the bad. It encompasses everything. So therefore, there's nothing missing. So when we perceive things as gone or missing, that is actually an illusion. In reality, the form has changed. So if we're looking for that person in the form of one person, if we're looking for all the things that we loved about them in the form of that one person, we're going to see the illusion that that person is missing, or those things are missing from that person that we were getting from that person. But once we look at the parts, we look at the parts that we loved, that we appreciated, and we look for them in a new form that's surrounding us in this infinite environment that we live in, we will start to see that those things that we loved are still present. And as soon as that perception of a void, or that perception of something that is missing, is gone, the grief starts to dissolve. Another thing that happens when people pass away is we tend to lose touch with reality of who they actually were and what they were actually like. It's like if you have an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend and you break up with them and you start to miss them because you're only remembering all the good things about them. But as soon as they're back, you're like, oh yeah, that's why we broke up. You remember the downsides. So when people pass away, they tend to infatuate with the person who's passed away. They were so amazing. They were the perfect person. There was nothing wrong with that person. This type of thinking is going on subconsciously. So they're not grounded in reality, and no person is perfect like that. Every person challenges us, and every person supports us. The opposite would be a form of resentment, where you're only perceiving how that person challenges you. But that's another thing. We're talking about grief here. A part of grief is when we get infatuated. So a part of dissolving and resolving grief is to break that infatuation as well. So when we realize the things that we love about them are still present here, we have to look at the downside of the old form, the form that we got from the one person. If they had a great sense of humor, what was the downside to you about that? Were some of the jokes inappropriate? Were some of the jokes awkward? They make some people feel uncomfortable. They make you uncomfortable. Look at the downside to that part that you loved. And look at the new form. Where is there humor in your present condition? In this present reality, where are you receiving a sense of humor? And what is the upside to the new form? How is the new form benefiting you? How is the new form serving you? So when you balance out your infatuation, that will also help dissolve this grief. So anyways, another part of this is looking at our humanity. I mean, our bodies, we're not our bodies. Our bodies are like a vehicle, a car. We're just in them for a little while, using them, but eventually we have to get out. And just recognizing that eventually our form is going to change. And the form of others that we love is going to change. And that will prepare you for when the inevitable happens. And what it also does is it helps you to appreciate people while they're still here in this reality that we can perceive. So in the form of one person. One of the biggest causes, if not the main cause, of all of our suffering is lack of appreciation. If you're in any kind of pain and suffering, I can guarantee you there's something you're not appreciating. And we use this in our language. We were like, oh, I didn't appreciate that. You know, when something happens, yeah, you didn't appreciate that. Yeah, you're not seeing a benefit and service to you in that action. So learning to appreciate things that challenge us is another part of mastering your mindset, mastering how you feel. Learning to appreciate things when someone criticizes you, when someone rejects you, when you lose someone or they change form. How is that serving you? How is that benefiting you? How is that helping you to grow? How is that helping you to connect with yourself, with others, with a higher spirit? How is it helping you to be more aligned and authentic and on purpose with yourself? Look for the upside, look for the advantage in these things that are challenging you. And you will start to appreciate everything, literally everything. If you can appreciate literally everything, then I've said enough. You don't need to listen to this podcast anymore. You've got it made. You can do whatever you want to do at that point. So appreciation is huge. Gratitude is huge. The people who make fun of gratitude, those are the most miserable people. Take note of that. Like, just notice that people who are making fun of gratitude and gratitude journaling and, you know, that type of thing, you'll find that they're the most miserable people. They get caught up in their resentments, and if someone dies in their family, they are not going to handle it well. So my job is to help you guys master your mindset, master the way you feel, no matter what is happening in your life, no matter what's happening in your circumstance, in your world. Let's be masters. Let's master ourselves, and then we can start making changes in this world and start mastering our lives and start contributing and leading. So, a life lesson for today: recognize your humanity. Start to appreciate things that initially you don't want to appreciate. The most important time to be thankful is when you really don't want to be thankful. That's when you need to be thankful. And start to see things from an infinite perspective. Start to see how things change form rather than gain and loss. Realize that gain and loss is an illusion, but change is permanent. The Buddha said that the only thing that is permanent is change. Okay, so death is not permanent, but change is going to happen. We're all going to change. All right, talk to you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Life Lessons Podcast. Check out my next episode, Life Lessons Podcast number 5, where I talk about my investigation into the question of what is right and what is wrong, and talking about pain and the cause of our pain. And I tell a little story about my father and how I had a huge epiphany regarding my father. So check that out. Life Lessons Podcast number 5 coming up. Thanks. Bye.